We are back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with the always lovely and talented Andrea Kay, the always incredible Urban Miaris, and we have our next in-studio guest. This is going to be a fun interview.
I know.
Welcome, Hilary Kearney from Girl Next Door Honey.
Hi.
Hey, so tell us a little bit about Girl Next Door Honey. That can be taken many different ways, so tell us what you do.
Well, I do a lot of things. I do beekeeping classes. I do live bee removals. I do kids classes. And I also do these beehive tours where I take people who maybe don't know anything about bees and, bring them into a beehive, put them in a bee suit, and they get to see the inside of a beehive.
Well, I have to stop and ask a question from my own personal experience, and I'm probably going to go about this the wrong way, so you'll pardon me, okay? I remember when I bought my first house in Del Mar, and it had a flat roof, and it had bees all over the place, and we ended up calling, because we had to get it through escrow, we ended up calling a extermination company, right? Mm-hmm. Which probably sets you the wrong way to begin with, so I apologize for that. But what's different about how you go about things as far as getting the bees out of the roof from my house versus calling a pest control company?
Right. So I accomplish the same means as the pest control company. You're still not going to have bees in your roof when I'm done. But instead of poisoning them and spraying poison all over your roof, I'm going to take them out alive and give them a new home, give them a place to live that's not your roof. So I do a live transfer from your roof into a beehive box, if you can picture that. So
you can actually, instead of trying to spray and kill, you can actually go in and find ways to extract the bees. And what I'm curious about is if you're extracting bees to save them, which I think is wonderful, how do you get all of the bees out of there to make sure that you can get past all the inspections and what have you in a property?
Well, if you get the queen, all the bees will go to their queen.
Okay.
So first,
which is the way it should be.
Yeah. Well, at first, a beehive, it's hard for people to talk about this because people don't know what a beehive looks like. But if you can picture a piece of honeycomb, right? A beehive is made up of lots of pieces of comb, and they may have honey in it or they may have babies in it, but they're going to be all hanging next to each other from whatever they're in. So from your roof, they're hanging down on the inside. So I cut open your roof and I cut out each piece of comb and transfer it into a wooden frame. And that is what beekeepers keep their bees in. And so if I get the queen, then all the bees will then go into my box, go to where their comb is, and by the end of the day, they'll all be out. So I just did this on a church roof, actually, this past Friday. So it's basically just cutting open the roof, getting the bees out. In a lot of situations, it's actually better to do a live removal because you're going to get honey. And also, the people who are just spraying poison, when it's deep into a roof like that, they usually can't get to all of it. And they're going to leave a bunch of honeycomb in there rotting, and it's going to draw rats and cause problems. When you do a live removal, you cut open the roof and get them out. Now, some pest control people might cut in the roof still to get all that out. But if you're going to cut into the roof anyway, why not hire someone who's going to save the bees versus killing them? Yeah. And you don't want all that poison in your immediate environment, right? If it's not good for bees, it can't be good for you.
Yeah, that happened to me one time. I was renting, not far from here, I was renting a condo, and there was a bee problem. And I called the owner of the condo, and I come home, and they drilled holes all in the wall above my bed, and my bed was covered in poison, and the bees were still there.
Right.
Because it didn't even work.
A lot of times it doesn't work because they can't get them all. And if you don't get the queen, if you don't kill her, then you're not gonna succeed. So I don't kill the queen. I mean, I catch her and I put her in a box, and they can smell her and they go to her.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, and I stop and think about this. If I had that problem, and I had never been to a house that had a bee problem before, so this is new to me. If I have that problem, there's a lot of people out there that have that problem. And, is there a huge cost difference if you call? I would think there can't be that much of a difference if you have a pest control company that's going to kill them versus, a company like yours that's going to come in and get them live and preserve them. There can't be that much of a cost difference to do that. Am I right?
Yeah, usually it's pretty similarly priced. Occasionally, live removal will be a little bit more costly. That's why I have a policy in place that I'll match the price of any pest control person. So if you find someone who's going to kill him for less than what I would save him for, I'll just match the price.
Okay, so here's, I do this with somebody almost every week, and now, I'm going to put this in your court to enforce this, okay? We deal with realtors all over the place every single day. Okay? They would love to know about this, because my guess is if I didn't know about it, realtors probably don't know about your process either, because there aren't a whole lot of people in town that do what you do. So let's find a way to connect the dots.
You want me to give my contact info?
Let's start there.
That's what you're saying.
Start there.
Well, my website's www.girlnextdoorhoney.com, and my phone number is 619-921-8189. You can text me or call me. I do, you know what? The bee removals is a piece of what I do. Mm-hmm. And I get to the point where I take down my Craigslist ads and I don't answer my phone because I get so many calls for bee removals. It's actually kind of crazy. So in terms of bee removals, I get a lot of calls for that.
Interesting.
But it is always good to get the word out, get people aware that it's possible to do live removal, because I'm not the only one doing it.
Okay.
And I would love to see, people choose that option over killing them.
Great. You're listening to Close Up on Standing Good Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Give us a tweet, Close Up SD. Email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com, or find our page on Facebook. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with Andrea Kay, Urban Miaris, and our guest is Hilary Kearney from Girl Next Door Honey. So you're overwhelmed with the live removals. So let's talk about all the other stuff that you like to do, that the other parts of your business in what you do with bees.
Well, I love teaching people about bees. So one of my favorite things that I just started doing last year is these beehive tours that I mentioned, where I'll take, someone like yourself, put them in a bee suit. You don't have to have any knowledge of bees. That's the point, is you can walk in knowing nothing, and you'll walk out with this whole world being aware of bees, and you'll start looking at things differently. And it's just fun to get into a bee suit. You can take selfies. Yeah. I had people come with their kids. I've had people come on dates. I've had people...
okay, don't do that, Boss Daddy. He's going to go and take a tour. Do not take a date on the bee tour.
I have the perfect idea, and Andrea, you're involved.
Oh, okay.
We do a tour of 2 different businesses. We go down to Vamfas, we go test the absinthe out, then we come out and we come do the bee tour, okay?
Now that sounds fun.
That's fun.
You'll be brave enough by the time you get there, right?
So.
Now, where do you do the tours?
Well, I had been doing them in National City, but that property's being sold, so I'm probably going to start doing them at my dad's house in Claremont, at least for a little while. We might get hooked up with a farm at some point and start doing them there, but that hasn't really come into place yet. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I was telling you guys earlier, it's good for like a team building experience. Yesterday I had 24 high-tech high teachers come in 2 groups, and we did tours in the afternoon, and they had a blast, and it was really fun to know that those teachers are now going to go on and pass that info along in their curriculum to kids. So it's a bonding experience. You know how they talk about it's better to spend money on experiences than stuff. And this is like an example of something you could do.
Yeah, I mean, that's so much better than just going and having another lunch, somewhere. What a great thing to talk about.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a great thing to go out to like a resort and I mean a country type resort, and they have all kinds of activities and horseback riding and what have you, and then they have a beekeeping facility out there.
Yeah, you know what? We should probably hook her up with Bandy Canyon.
She was just on last week.
Yeah. They're a phenomenal resort ranch.
Escondido.
Yeah, east of the Wild Animal Park, which is actually Safari Park now. Everybody still calls it the Wild Animal Park. So, I think we should kind of backtrack a little bit, because people are probably listening going, how in the world did this gal get involved in this business?
Well, I picked up a book and I started reading it. I just thought it was fascinating, and I just kind of fell in love with bees, and it just kind of snowballed into a business. So,
well, one of the reasons why I wanted to ask that, because who gets fascinated with bees? I mean, we're all waiting for that swarm of the African ones that are supposed to arrive, right? Weren't they supposed to be here like 5 years ago and take us all down? I mean, there's been movies on TV. There was like one based in New Orleans in the Superdome. There's like the swarm that's supposed to kill us.
No.
What's the word?
I mean, the Africanized bees have been here since the 90s. They're already here. It's really not what the media makes it out to be. Like, yes, things go wrong. But basically, the Africanized bees, our honeybees, are the same as any other honeybee. They're just a little bit more defensive of their home. So when you have something like if you look at the news stories that come out where people lose their lives to these kind of situations, it's always something like they chainsawed into a beehive like they chainsawed into a tree where there was a beehive. So if you can imagine the bees, if you can imagine being a bee in that situation, that's like someone coming into your house with a chainsaw.
Right.
What would you do?
Right.
So that's what I tell people. I mean, they're just trying to defend their babies, their home, their babies are in there. So they just have a bigger reaction than the European honeybees do. And so they'll chase you further.
Europeans tend to be more chill.
Right? I just think about somebody coming into your home with a chainsaw. It's like back home in Philadelphia.
Yeah, now I'm imagining the little French bees with the beret, right, and their little cigarette. So classes, you started talking about classes. What do you teach in the classes, like to children and to adults?
So for the adult classes, I'm really teaching you how to become a backyard beekeeper. So same thing, my intro class is offered every month, and I'm actually doing one this Saturday. I do those in Bay Park at the Nature Center there. So those are happening every month, and you can walk in knowing nothing. You don't have to have any equipment. You don't have to invest in anything. I actually tell people not to buy anything before the class because I'm going to talk about what you need to buy and what you don't in the class. And so I'll teach you how to get started with your own beehive in your backyard if you want to learn how to beekeep. And then I have hands-on classes after that. I actually have a whole series of classes you can take on how to harvest the honey. And I actually do a class on how to remove the bees alive for people who want to know how to do that. And then for kids classes, I don't offer those on like a scheduled basis. I don't do group kid classes in that way, but I am available for hires for private kids classes. So if you have a youth group, or if you teach a class at a school, or if you have a Girl Scout group, anything like that, I've had homeschoolers get kids together and then I'll meet them at a park, and I can do the class anywhere, and I can really tailor it to the age groups. And we play fun games, and I bring live bees in a little container so they can see it, like a piece of a beehive. It's called an observation hive. And so I'm really flexible with the kids' classes. I can pretty much go anywhere and do any group, any age.
Any age? No minimum?
Nope. Well, under 2, I don't think they're going to.
Well, yeah, that's great.
I have a question regarding businesses. You go into your business early in the morning. This happened to me when I owned a restaurant, and we opened up early in the morning, and we had bees all in the restaurant. How soon would you come out for a commercial property, whether it be a manufacturing company or a food service, that if you don't get the bees out, we really can't open?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of a one-woman show, so that depends on the day and I guess your luck, how soon I can get out there. I mean, obviously, in critical situations like that, I'll try and move things around and get it out sooner. But, if I can't get to something quickly and someone needs help, then I'll usually refer another beekeeper to them if I can't make it.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to talk about honey and the business of honey and the different flavors of honey. Tell everybody about that. Well, first of all, honey is made from nectar. I think a lot of people don't even understand how honey is made, but basically the bees will collect nectar from flowers. They have these straw-like tongues, and they can suck the nectar out, and they can actually store that inside themselves. They have 2 stomachs, one for eating, one for storing. And so the storage stomach is called the honey gut. So they put the nectar in there. It gets mixed. I have a honey gut. I eat a lot of honey.
It gets mixed with all these live enzymes and different microbes and beneficial stuff. They put it in the honeycomb, they kind of regurgitate it out, and they dehydrate it. So it starts out about 70% water, goes down to about 17%, and that's why it's nice and gooey honey. So because it's coming from flowers, that nectar, the flavor is different based on what kind of flowers are in bloom. So different times of year, different areas, you can get completely different flavor profiles from those honeys. So I categorize my honey by neighborhoods because I'm keeping bees in people's backyards all over San Diego. So I'll have a batch of honey, and I'll say this honey's from Claremont, this honey's from Bay Park. So rather than saying this is orange honey, this is clover honey, I'm categorizing it by neighborhoods.
I want to Mount Soledad honey. Going on. I wonder if we got a lot of bees up on the hill.
Well, you know what strikes me as really interesting here, and I love this because when we get into working with people from a financial standpoint, I get younger people and older people that are either looking for something or looking to change. And when I see somebody say, if you have the opportunity to do it, which we don't always, but if you have the opportunity, follow your dream. So here we have Hilary, who went to UC Santa Cruz, went to get a degree on something completely unrelated, found she had a love for something and followed the dream and has turned it into her own business. So, that's a great story all in itself.
It is. It's I'm thinking right now with Steam and Victor. I mean, this is science.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, what are your plans for growth?
Well, I'd like to get teamed up with different businesses around town. I don't have any beehives on the roofs of any businesses yet, but I'm thinking restaurants, hotels, all these places could really benefit from having, bees on their roof, and it doesn't disturb anything. No one would even know they were there. And then if we get honey out of the situation, these are the kind of businesses that could really use that and use that as a marketing thing too, because it's so cool to be green
We got
right
craft
now.
beer. We could have craft honey.
That's a great idea. Seriously.
Brewers too, because they want honey. All brewers want honey because they like to use it in their beers. So all the local breweries around, they want to do beehives, on the roof. That could be cool. The problem is because of the drought, we're not getting a lot of honey, so I haven't been pursuing that as much. But I would love to get involved with that a little bit more, and probably gonna have to buy some land or something at some point. I'm kind of crowdfunding land for bees right now by placing them in other people's properties. So.
Well, we're going to get together. I'm going to talk to you about things like my former next door neighbor, who I've told this story many times. But up in Escondido, unfortunately, he passed away a few years back. But I saw his family still up there on his property. He used to raise animals, goats, deer, pigs, ostrich, emu, cassowaries, you name it, guinea hens. He had thousands of birds. And, for 15 years, he had a pygmy hippopotamus on his property.
What?
Okay. True story. So I'm going to go.
So he's got enough land for some bees up there?
They got about 5 acres up there that would be that I don't think they're using for animals anymore. But they have a lot of farm community, and he's the wonderful guy. He helped deliver my son as a baby doctor. So anyway, I'll introduce you to them. Let's talk about it. Before we go, since we're about out of time, let our listeners know one more time how they get in touch with you.
www.girlnextdoorhoney.com, or my phone number is 619-921-8189. You can call or text me. My email is girlnextdoorhoney@gmail.com. Any of those. I'm also on Instagram, girlnextdoorhoney on Instagram. So anyone wants to follow my story, see what I'm doing every day. I post sometimes like 10 pictures a day. If you want to watch my bee removals happen live via Instagram,
ooh, that's cool.
Posting pictures all the time. I've actually got about 17,000 followers on there right now.
Wow.
Fabulous.
Wow.
So people like it. People like seeing the bees, and you learn a lot too following it, which is cool.
Yay.
Well, we've got a lot to follow up with. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
Right. This is Close Up on Standing Good Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD or just find our page on Facebook. You can always email me at Barry@CloseUpSanDiego.com. Let me know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.